Welcome to today's Flow360 online training webinar. In this session we are going to be looking at health and safety and risk management. So we're going to be looking at the built-in priorities for issues and tasks and what they mean. We will also look at how you prioritize health and safety related scheduled tasks and issues, bulk setting of priorities for multiple options and tasks, uploading, linking and automatically distributing key documents, including automatic links to specific issue types. We're going to look at scheduling health and safety related tasks, categorizing tasks, setting compliance related restrictions on task repeats. And then we're going to spend some time looking at the built-in inspection options in Flow360, the safety related inspections that include fire safety inspections, water safety testing, electrical testing, asbestos management. And we're going to look at the inspection forms, adding an ad hoc inspection to a location or object, and also we're going to take a look at customizing the built-in inspections and saving those as a standard task for reuse. And finally, we'll have a quick look at incident reports and how a new incident report is created. So, let's start by looking at the built-in priorities and what they mean. Priorities are attached in Flow360 to help desk issues as they come in, and also to scheduled tasks and items on works orders or inquiries. So let's have a look first of all at our help desk list. I'm logged in as Tim, Service Manager on our demo site, and I'm going to click the main help desk button to look at my current list. And we have some issues here, a whole variety of things. Let's have a look at this power not working. On the issue record card itself, I can see that this has already been set with a priority 1. So this is considered to be a high priority issue for this particular bedroom. Now, the priority levels that we have in Flow360 are 1, 2, 3, 4 are the basic priority levels, and then we also have the CIPFA priorities. CIPFA stands for the Chartered Institute of Public Finance and Accountancy. And when you hover over the priority settings, you can see you get a little tooltip pop up. So priorities 1 to 4 are basically covering everything from 1 being urgent, so that would generally be a key health and safety related issue, all the way down to 4 simply being a desired action, not necessarily urgent in any particular way. The CIPFA priorities are somewhat more specific and include things like a CIPFA priority A indicates a health and safety breach due to condition, whereas a CIPFA priority L indicates a health and safety breach not due to condition. So the CIPFA priorities can be very handy for categorizing things in a more specific way than the standardized 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can see on the issue record card, of course, I'm logged in as a manager, so I can simply change the priority. And if I do that, we then get an event log in the event log for that particular issue. So we can see here 2 different priority changes for this issue. Issue changed from none to 1 initially, and then was changed from 1 to 2. It was sort of downgraded marginally from a priority 1 to a priority 2 issue. So changing the issue priority is a simple thing to do from the Details tab and can be undertaken by anybody who is in charge of that particular issue. So CIPFA priority, similarly, we can simply add the appropriate CIPFA priority. So B would be total or partial loss of service. And of course, because the power is not working, that would be indicative of a loss of service. So adding a CIPFA priority B is appropriate for this particular issue. So having prioritized those tasks, of course, that can then influence what sort of urgency we attach to the task. And it also means when individual operatives or members of the team or outside contractors are reviewing issues or works instructions that have been sent to them, they can prioritize those according to those priority settings. So let's return to our list for a minute and just have a look at how we can use the filters then to find those high priority items. But before we do that, we're just going to have a quick look here, because one of the options in the list view is to actually show the priority column. Now, I'd like to remind you at this point that you have the option on the Help Desk Issues list views of deciding which particular columns you want to see displayed when you look at the list, and you can change this list whenever you want to. So the priority, the basic 1, 2, 3, 4 priority, is one of those options that you can turn on or off when you're looking at this list view, and you can simply toggle those on or off and hit the confirm button to save your changes. So we're going to cancel that out. So with the priority column listed here, of course, by clicking on the P column, I can sort the issues by priority, and the first sort will put them in ascending order, the second sort will put them in descending order, so I can see now priority 3 running down to 2, and there may be some priority 1 issues further down the list. We have a small handful. So that's a little look at setting priorities in the help desk list for issues. Let's just have a look at the same thing in relation to planned actions or scheduled tasks. Now, of course, in terms of risk management, in terms of health and safety issues, a lot of the activity is going to be around scheduled tasks rather than reactive. So I'm looking at my King's College website, my site record, and I'm going to go to the Tasks tab, and on the Tasks tab, of course, are all those tasks that are scheduled for the next period running across the entire site. And again, I'm going to use this time the filters to filter this set of tasks down in order to find the higher priority tasks. We can see in the column here that we've got the priority column showing, and as with the help desk issues, I can simply toggle that column and switch it to sort the listed tasks according to the priority. But let's just pop up the filter panel and find tasks that are, say, high priority, so priority 1 to 2, and where the status is ready, i.e. they are not currently active, they're waiting to be executed. And we'll hit the confirm button on that in order to execute the task. And we have a lengthy list here, and a lot of them, sadly, are already red flagged, which means they've been scheduled for a particular date and they've not yet been actioned, and it's now past that date, and therefore they have the red flag in this column here. A useful thing at this point, perhaps, is just to summarize this set of scheduled tasks according to priority and the building that they relate to. So we can do that simply from the report output by saying, give me a report summary that takes these tasks and shows them to me sorted by asset level, that is the building level, and priority. Note that we can do this also by SIP for priority if we wish to, but let's just stick to the standard 1, 2, 3, 4 priority for a minute, and we can see the list then sorted out by priority and sorted by building. So we can see for main building we've got 4 things that have been flagged as priority 1. Art and drama block has just one thing that's a very high priority and some other priority 2 issues. So as with many other things in Flow360, just pulling off a report summary is a useful way of summarizing that information and viewing it in a slightly different form. So we've run a filter here on the tasks list for all of those priority 1 and 2 tasks. And I want to show you a little trick for setting the priority for multiple tasks at one time. Now this can be very handy when you're initially setting up your schedule of actions and you've put them all in, and then you've realized actually you haven't assigned priorities to them, or you've decided you've changed how you're running your priorities and you want to change a whole set of tasks in one go. So from the Tasks tab list, I can select multiple records, and I can do that by clicking on the row for the first record and then holding down the Shift key and clicking on the last row, and that will select a set of records from the first to the last. Alternatively, I can use the Command key on my keyboard, I can hold that down and select multiple individual records by clicking on the relevant rows. So I've got a number of records selected here, and I want to change the priority, or maybe the SIP for priority, for all of those selected records. And I can do that by clicking on the Change Multiple Record button and change task setting for selected tasks. It confirms that I've got 9 records selected, and what I'm going to do is change the priority. I want to set the priority to priority 2. Now, note that when I do that, I get the key that comes up here just as a reminder, which is handy. So I want to select priority level 2, essential, and click the button that says set this for the selected set of records. And I get confirmation back that 9 out of 9 selected records, so all the records, were in fact updated to priority 2. And if we look in the priority column for all of these selected records, we can see they all have a 2 against them. So back on the main start screen, I now want to shift our attention to documents and uploading and linking important documents as part of risk management and looking after the health and safety of the various individuals who work or operate on your sites. So we're going to jump direct to a boiler room location just by typing boiler into my quick find, and we're going to the housekeeper's house and the boiler room, and I want to upload a document because we know there's asbestos in this particular location, so I want to upload a document and make it a key document in order that it is automatically linked to incoming issues for this particular house location, and also passed on to any contractor or service provider who's going to undertake work in that area to alert them automatically to the fact that there is asbestos in that location and that they need to be aware of the risk. So on the record for the boiler room, I'm going to go to the Docs tab, and we're going to click the button to add a new document selected from my computer. Now, of course, if you had the document already in your document library in Flow360, then you'd simply click the link button, which would allow you to select an existing document and link it to this new object or location. We're going to add this document as a completely new document. I'm simply going to go to my desktop where I've got this asbestos register document ready to go, and I'm going to click on upload. And that has put the asbestos register document in as a linked document against the boiler house, but at the moment it is just a linked document, so it's not going to be automatically attached to anything, and in order to set those controls up I need to go to the record for the document itself. And I do that from the Docs tab, where I've just attached the document by clicking the little Go To button, and we can see just the outline information about the file. What I want to draw your attention to is this area of the form up here where I can set this document as a key document. And you get a little tooltip pop up that comes up, does say managers only, and it says click to toggle, and it says when set the document will be automatically assigned to works inquiries that are linked to the location that this document is linked to. So if I click on that, set the global key document flag for this document, yes, this document will be automatically included for new works orders and inquiries for all locations this document is linked to. So I shall click yes. And that is logged as an event, the fact that I've changed that key document setting. And having done that, we can see that a couple of other options have come up here on the document record as well. One is simply to say that if I tick the box that also says help desk, that means that this document will also be automatically linked to any incoming help desk fault reports, service requests that relate to this location or any location that this document is linked to. So we're going to click that as well. So that means now that the document will be linked throughout. It will be linked to any incoming issues, and it will also be linked automatically to any outgoing works orders or inquiries. The two other options you have here, one is to indicate that it only applies to certain types of services or fault requests in the help desk. So HD stands for help desk in this regard. And we can click the little pop-up here if we want to and say, well, it doesn't apply to all of these things, it only applies to some of them, and we can select the ones that it applies to, and then the document will be ignored for any of the others. At the moment, we're just going to leave that off. We're going to leave it as a global thing. So any issue, any fault, any service request for this particular location that this document is linked to will automatically have the asbestos register information linked to it. I want to set one more option here, which is to say that I also want confirmation from anyone who is managing an issue for a location this document is linked to, or anyone who has received a works instruction to undertake work in a location the document is attached to, that they need to confirm that they've looked at the document and understood its contents. And I can tick the little box here to say that they need to confirm, require confirmation that this document has been read and understood before any linked order or issue can be signed off. And of course this will affect only future orders, it can't be applied retrospectively. So that's set up this document now, this important document, this important piece of information, to be automatically linked to any incoming issue, automatically linked to any outgoing works order instruction, and further to require that the person dealing with the issue or dealing with the particular order or instruction ticks the box to say that they have understood and they've read the contents of the document. Let's follow that process through just briefly by logging an issue, a fault, against this particular location. So I'm going to jump back using the Links tab here, which tells me what locations this document is linked to. That's a handy thing to know. And we're going to jump back to that boiler room location and log a fault by clicking on the help desk button for that location. And I'm simply going to say that the lighting is not working. So it's a simple thing, but it might involve an electrician, for instance, getting into the ceiling or looking at the wall or areas where there might be asbestos. And we're going to log that and click confirm. So that has put it in the system, and we can see that the docs tab here on this new issue is sort of highlighted, and we've actually got asbestos register information from the main site, and we've also picked up specific asbestos register information, that document that I've just added for this particular location. And if we were to send that on as a works instruction, works order, further down to a service provider or to an outside contractor even, then all of that information goes with it. And we have a permanent record in Flow360, very important in terms of risk management, looking after your site, that you have that record, you have that audit trail of what information was sent to whom and when. And that information cannot be changed. You can't delete the fact that the document was attached. You can't delete the document from the issue. We can see here the little exclamation mark in this row indicates that I have to confirm that I've checked and read and understood the contents of that document. So even if I attempt to send this issue on as an instruction to somebody else, I have to check first of all that I've had a look at that. So found one document not confirmed as read. Okay, I need to go to this little thing and just tick it and say confirm that this document has been read and understood. Of course, hopefully I would actually have opened the document and read it first. And the fact that I'm confirming it is logged also as an event. So I will tick that box, and we've now got a tick in the column that confirms that this document has been read and understood. And if we go to the event log, I can see an event log here that's been made, document red flag set to on. So the document asbestos register boiler house 1 is confirmed as read. And if I drill through to the issue itself, it also puts, of course, the name of the person who confirmed it and a date stamp, a time stamp, against the date and time when they confirmed that that issue, that document has been read. So that takes you through, I hope, understandably, the process for uploading a new document, linking it to an object or location. Hopefully you already know about that side of things. Setting those important key document flags on that document to ensure that the document is automatically linked and brought through, and that important health and safety information is passed on to anyone who is dealing with that particular issue. And of course that you have a permanent record in Flow360 that all of those things happened, that the document was uploaded, that it was linked, that it was sent at the right time to the appropriate people, and that they have indicated that they have read and understood the contents of the document before undertaking any work on that location. We are now going to just have a quick look at scheduling tasks and just attaching priorities to them at the point in time when we add them, and then categorizing tasks according to specific work types, one of which can include a health and safety tag. So we're going to just drill down on our site into the boarding houses and into Tucker's house. Of course, you know I could have done this more quickly from the front screen, and we'll go into the dining room, and we're going to schedule a task in here, which is just a sort of general inspection. So I'll go to add a task, and we're simply going to say inspect, and general safety inspection is what we want to call it. We want to do this fairly regularly, so we're going to do this on a monthly basis, and we don't need very long to do it, probably 20 minutes. And we've put that in the system. And here, of course, we can set, as we're attaching the task, we can set the priorities. So it's not the highest health and safety priority, but it is general safety inspection. We'll attach a priority 2 to it. And of course we have the SIP of priorities that we can attach at the same time if we wish to. And hit the confirm button on that, and that has attached that general safety inspection as a task against the dining room for that location and activity. So we all know that going back up to the site record, if we go to the tasks tab, we can see a list of all tasks, and I want to show you how we can further categorize tasks using perhaps a health and safety flag, for instance. So let's go to a standard service task here, and on the task record itself I have a categories, an option 1 categories list here, a tab list. At the moment it just has a general categorization against it, but supposing I want to flag this as a health and safety related activity, I can click the little button here that says add a new category, and of course I have some structured work schemes I could look at here, but actually all I want to do is take a work type and say this is health and safety. So I just want to attach that as a work type or a categorization against this particular task. And if I go through to my list and use the filter button now, I can find, by using the category tab in the filters, I can find all of those tasks that I have flagged as health and safety, regardless of priority. So this allows me to sort of mix things up a little bit. It allows me to set a priority level that is very specific, indeed additional SIP for priorities that can be very specific, but then group a whole set of activities or planned actions together under the health and safety banner by attaching that health and safety work type to them. And that allows me to bring all of those things together, and of course we can do what we did before, is then produce a report that summarizes all of those activities now by priority level. So we're still looking at all of those tasks that have been tagged with the health and safety work type, and we're now producing a report that summarizes that by priority and by building. So it allows us to extract that information. Reporting, as always, really useful, just be able to produce that summary, send it off as a breakdown. You've got a meeting, you've got a management board or a governor's meeting, you need to feed some information through to them in terms of your plan of action, and that's a very useful and easy way of doing it. In terms of adding that particular work type, we've already looked at how we can add a priority or set the priority for multiple help desk issues in one go. We can do something very similar, of course, from our scheduled tasks. We can add categories to them. In fact, the best place to do that is to go to the site record and go to our tasks tab. So we're doing this at a site specific level. Let's just jump back in here and let's just find a set of tasks. So I'm just going to pick a set of tasks more or less at random from here, and I just want to attach, let me do one for the minibus. I just want to say that these are health and safety related. So I can do the add category option for change multiple task settings, and I've got 3 records selected, and I can go through and click OK, and then again come down to work type and simply select health and safety and click confirm. Now sometimes those records will already have that category attached to them, and in this case they have, so it's actually just informed me that they already had the setting. We didn't need to update it. But that's how you can do it, how we can add that health and safety work type to a subset of tasks by picking them from the list. We could of course run the filter first, find a whole set of tasks, select the whole set and add that particular health and safety flag to all of them in one go. Now I just want to show you one other thing in relation to tasks, which is that we can put a compliance related restriction in terms of the repeat interval on a particular task. So let's have a little look at doing that, say for a standard fire safety inspection task. Now at the top of the task record here we've got priority set to currently to 3. I'm actually going to change that. We're going to shift this up the scale a little bit, make it priority 2, and I want to change the repeat intervals here to make this a monthly check. And now I want to set a constraint on it, and the constraint is going to be 1 month, and that means that I've said that we not only that we want to repeat this every month, but that there is a constraint against changing the schedule for this particular task. And if I tried now to adjust the next due date that took me out of that time frame, it would alert me and actually prevent me from doing that. So in that way we can take selected tasks from our schedule, from our rolling program of inspections and health and safety related actions, and add constraints to them, which at least will help ensure that we maintain that schedule and run those tasks at the appropriate times. I'm going to go back to the start now. We're going to have a quick look before we finish at inspection forms. So I'm going to drill through first of all to a particular location, a particular building, and we are going to just set up a building inspection form for the science section. Now there are various ways that you can attach inspections to objects or in this case a building. You can simply add an ad hoc inspection record. So let's do that first of all. We'll go to the inspections tab and I want to add an inspection. So I'm going to click the little button here to add an inspection or / incident report, and it's going to be just a building safety inspection. And we're going to add that, and it takes me straight through to the inspection record itself, where I can use my standard form here to either confirm or deny that these things are okay. So fire doors clear from obstruction, yes. Escape routes clear. Fire doors closed, shut, yes. Fire doors good condition, yes. Cold smoke seals fitted and in good condition. Well, I'm going to raise a problem here that the seal on door 1B is loose, and that will obviously need looking at. Now whilst I'm on that inspection form, and the fact that I've raised a fault there, I'm just going to raise a help desk issue directly from that, but first I'm just going to confirm that these other things were okay. And this is a combined health and safety form. This looks at the fire safety and the water temperature, Legionella testing all in one go, and I can log the outlet temperatures and so on. Just for speed at the moment, I'm not going to do that. I just want to bring you back to this fail point. The fact that it has failed has automatically red flagged this inspection. And when I go back to my inspections tab list as a manager, as an organizer or even just as someone looking after that particular building, I can see those inspections listed, and I will see very clearly those that have got red flags against them. But in addition to the red flag, which says we've got a fail point against this inspection, I can raise a fault report directly from it just by clicking the Create New Help Desk Issue button on the inspection record itself. And you can see that it's brought through the information into the Details tab from the inspection record onto the Help Desk issue for the science section on this particular site. And obviously I can then just hit Confirm to log that as a new issue. The fact that this issue has been logged as a part of a post-inspection process is clearly indicated up here. We can see post-inspection is ticked, and if I can click the button there, it will take me back to the inspection record. And on the inspection record, I also have confirmation that we have created a help desk issue from this inspection. So let's just assume that that issue has been logged, that someone has attended and fixed the seal, cleared that particular problem. We can remove the red flag, and I'm going to do that just by clicking on the alert tick box, and I have the option here, remove the red alert for this inspection, yes or no. And a note that if the basic warnings still exist, which they do because there is a fail on this inspection, then the colour flash will remain at orange as an indicator, a reminder that there was a fail against this particular inspection. The fact that it is now orange, which it will be when I say yes there, and we'll just say it was fixed because we've removed the alert. The fact that it remains orange is a reminder that there was a fail against this particular inspection. So if I go back to the science section of the site and I look at the inspections tab here, we can see those inspections, and that one is showing clearly with that orange flag against it. So even once that inspection has been signed off, that flag remains, and we can filter and find the list very easy of those inspections that have caused issues at one point or other in order to review what is going on in terms of managing risk and looking after health and safety. So that's adding an ad hoc inspection. We can also set up standard inspections that we want to use repeatedly across the site, and I can do that from the Standard Tasks tab. Now we've already got some set up here, so I'm going to just show you quickly. We've got an electrical safety inspection form already set up here, and at this point, because this is me editing the standard task, I can change the text for these particular options here. And I can take some options out. At the moment we only have, on the visual inspection, we have 2 items, so it's only going to ask 2 questions really, and the plug/termination for the small electrical appliance has 6 items here that we're going to check and test each time. So I can edit those if I want to, and that is then stored as a standard task that I can apply against all of those electrical objects that I need to test on a regular basis. The same thing happens for the building safety inspection form that we've already looked at. The fire safety inspection form is literally just the fire-related part of the combined building safety inspection form, and there's also a separate one for water testing. So let's just have a look at adding that one in, and we're just going to give it a code, and we're just going to say standard water temp test. I'm just going to copy that into the details just for speed at the moment. And form required. We need a form for this, so we need the building water safety inspection form. We do this as a one-off. Time needed, well, that's going to vary, so I'm not even going to bother to fill that in particularly. Categorization here, well, we can say at this point that we can add a category to it if we want to. So let's just choose our health and safety option from there. And then we've added that building water safety inspection as a standard inspection on our list of inspections. And as with the others, we could, of course, edit the specifics of that particular form if we want to. So we have a fire safety inspection, we have the electrical safety inspection, we also have asbestos checks built in, as well as the water safety inspections. One last thing I want to show you before we finish this particular session is a quick look at incident reports, which of course would generally come under the sort of health and safety banner. And we're going to jump to a particular room location in order to do this, because we've had an incident reported to us that we need to log on the system for room 25. So we go to room 25, I go to the inspections tab, and I want to add a new inspection here, and the type of inspection is an incident report. And that takes me straight to the new incident report form, and we can say who was involved in here, what happened, was there a vehicle involved, obviously the date and time of the incident, we can simply select and put that in, were there any witnesses, the summary, the details, treatment required, yes or no, type of injury, and so on. So maybe it was a sprain or strain, treatment required, yes, and we can put in the detail of the treatment. And we can attach documents if we want to, or if we need to. So if there's another form that we need to attach at this point, or there's photographic evidence that we need to attach, then we can link that. And I will simply say at this point that documents that are attached to incident reports are treated a little bit more sensitively than documents that are attached anywhere else in Flow360, in that they automatically have restricted access to those that are involved in the incident report directly, and will not be generally visible or available to other people accessing Flow360. And that happens automatically. You don't have to remember, oh, this is an incident report, I need to treat this document slightly differently. So that was a little bit of a romp through really at the end. The various inspection types that are available in Flow360. We will be running some future webinars spending more time looking at the inspections and looking at incident reports, but I hope that's given you a brief heads up that all of those things are there and you really should be using them. Those incident and inspection reports can be put into rolling programs of inspections that can then be scheduled, set to auto-repeat, so that we can hand those out as monthly or weekly programs of testing and inspections. And the fact that you have those in your system, they are part of your program of activity, means that when you are audited or inspected as an establishment, you can point to those things as firm proof that your risk management and your compliance and your health and safety aspects of your management of the site are very much in place. Well, I hope that's been a useful session. As ever, our website and the user guide has more information on most of these aspects, and if you have any particular questions or queries regarding today's session, please do get in touch with us using the support@flow360.net email address. Thank you for your time today.